Okay, sweet. I think that's good.
I'm loving doing this in my house.
This is awesome.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Of course.
Thugshells.
Yeah.
So what is your real name?
My name is Michelle.
Michelle.
Michelle, yeah.
Michelle.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So where are you from? You said
Edmonton.
Okay.
Yeah, Edmonton, Alberta.
So you were born there?
I actually grew up in Vancouver. So I was born in Edmonton when I was about a month old. We lived in Vancouver till I was about 10, and then my family moved back, and I've been there ever since.
Okay, nice. So what's going on out there? Are you liking it?
Good. Yeah. Well, I'm a full-time artist, full-time musician. So I've been on the road for the last month and a half. So I haven't been home in a hot minute.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where else have you been?
I was in California. Then I came home for one day to host my own freestyle rap night. And then I was up in the Yukon teaching a children's workshop. And then I came straight to Vancouver. And so I go home tomorrow. So I'm finally going to be home again.
Oh my God. Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds so fun.
It's been really cool. Yeah. I was down in California for 2 weeks shooting some content. And I was down for a big conference there.
Okay. What kind of conference was that?
So Twitch is like a live streaming service.
Yeah.
So I stream a lot. And so they have their big TwitchCon in San Diego. So I was down performing at that.
Oh, fun. So are you do you you go on Twitch and live stream you rapping and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I do freestyle rap streams and I'm also a DJ. So I kind of have a mix of both of those. I'll do DJ shows and I'll do rap shows.
Okay. Oh my God, fun.
Yeah, I really love it.
Yeah, that seems like you love it. It's great.
Yeah.
So how long have you been full-time artist for?
So basically, I started streaming when the pandemic hit, so about 3 years. The first year was a bit of a slow build, but I was still a full-time artist then. But I would say about 2 years ago, I kind of transitioned to being a happy, comfortable full-time artist.
Yeah.
And since then, it's only gotten better and easier. So and now that the world's opened up, I'm able to blend the streaming that I do with the real-life world, all the things that are coming up. So it's been good. I've been really lucky.
Dope. That sounds so awesome. So what did you do before when you were young?
Before I was young, kind of like odds and ends. I worked at a lot of like waitressing and bartending. I actually worked at a bank for a couple years, which is pretty ironic just because I could never imagine myself working in the corporate world.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but then I switched over. I did full-time renovations for a while. So basically I worked in the corporate world for a while, and then I did full-time renos for ever. And then I did all the odds and ends. I did a lot of graphic design and kind of whatever anybody needed. And then when I decided to start streaming and switch to kind of full-time artist, I decided to kind of go all in on that. And I realized how much time it actually is required if you want to successfully be a full-time artist. It's a full-time job.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
more than a full-time
job. So once I finally made that switch, it was kind of forced. And I used kind of the COVID as a quarantine period, an incubation period to kind of grow my skills and put in all the hours that I did.
That's great.
Yeah. And so I've been full-time since then. But yeah, I did kind of everything before then. But my time was a little bit so divided that I never put all into it. And as soon as I did, it started paying off right away. So
yeah, I know that's something that I struggle with sometimes because I feel like I have multiple things that I like in my artistic career, and it's well, which one do I decide to fully go in on?
Yeah, and the more you do stuff, the busier you get, really. And you realize that some people can do what you would have done in those certain aspects a lot quicker. So you learn to delegate as you continue on in it. Because, for example, graphic design work, I was making all my own posters and graphics for everything. But once you start getting a little bit busier, you realize that your time is sometimes spent well when it's dedicated to what you're doing. And then if you delegate that, you can get a lot more done.
Yeah, for sure. Very true. So are you you seem to know a little bit about cameras too. Were you doing that kind of thing?
I actually did go through a phase in my life where I was convinced I was going to be a photographer.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've done a lot of some of my own video editing and stuff for my music videos. Yeah. So I have I stream as well. So I have a nice Sony 4 streaming, but I used to have a Canon back in the day when I was 19.
That's a great skill to have to add to your list there.
It's good.
Great. It definitely
I feel as you go through this world, you pick up little tidbits of information and you just get to use them. And that's why I love freestyle rapping, because you go out and you get inspired by living real life experiences, and then you bring everything that you've learned, then you just sprinkle it into your music. So whether it's freestyle or actual recorded songs, but it's cool, and that's why it's really important to go live and be inspired too, and not just stay in a studio, because you learn all this stuff and then you bring it back home.
Yeah, for sure. How old are you?
How old do I look?
Girl, I don't even know. I'm based on the life story that I'm hearing, I feel maybe mid to late 20s.
So I'm 27.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. That's exactly where I would have put it. Okay, cool, nice.
I got the baby face still.
Yeah. Lucky. She look young forever. That's great.
Yeah, it's nice to be in Vancouver. It's cool. I'm glad that I got to see your hip hop scene. I'm glad I got to come up to Rap Night and see you guys.
I'm glad you got to come. How did you hear about it?
Ghetto Fab messaged me. Yeah, he reached out to me and I flew in, literally got in as it started. Like I landed at 7:15 p.m. and Rap Night started at 7.
Yeah.
And I just went straight there.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Did you have fun?
Oh god, yeah. I love rap. Yeah.
What is there like something going on like that in Edmonton? Like do you guys have
so I host a rap night.
Right.
Yeah. So I have my own freestyle rap night bi-weekly. It's in the basement of the Starlight Room at a venue called River City Revival House. Nice. And it's amazing. So I book a different DJ and a different rapper to feature every 2 weeks. And we have a really dope hip hop community. I'm really grateful for all my people. I used to, like pre-COVID, I hosted my rap night at a different venue for like a year. And now I kicked this one back up about a year ago and it's just growing and growing. And it's really cool because the venue really cares about the hip hop community and about myself as a person. So I have a lot of support there and the night's just continued to grow. And so what keeps me staying in Edmonton. I can never leave.
Yeah. I was going to say, are you like planning on living there forever? Like, are you ever like, I'm going to move to LA?
I've always told myself I would one day leave, but I'm just so happy there. I'm tapped into, so I'm a DJ as well. And my beginnings as a rap artist were over electronic music at music festivals. So I'm very tapped into both the electronic side of things as well as the hip hop community at Edmonton. So it's really good. I'm sure they'll have to be one day, but I have a couple like pets that I love to death. So they're kind of what tether me so much. My dog's 11 and my cat's 18. So
wow.
They're both pretty old. So I like don't want to move them. So kind of like I'm tethered in Edmonton as they continue. And then I don't really know because I was just down in California and like the amount I got to do in California in a week, I was like, oh wow, I can really make a splash down here.
Yeah.
I got to freestyle rap with Capadonna from the Wu-Tang.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just like the one day I was in LA. So I was like, just the amount of opportunity in certain places is pretty epic. But I love Edmonton. I love it there.
Yeah. And I mean, you can always travel.
Yeah. Like in the winter when Edmonton sucks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Cold as hell there in the winter.
Yeah. Are you excited to go back or is it going to be like snow?
I am. I have a couple gigs right away when I get back. I'm excited to just be home for a sec. So yeah, definitely excited.
True. Yeah. After being on the road for a while.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I feel like it's like, I don't know, going places like LA, whatever, like you're right. There are so many more opportunities, but it is like, it's so much more like dense with people who are doing the thing. So it's like, is it more or is it like the same? You know what I mean?
I feel like you could get really lost in stuff there too. Like I feel the authenticity in certain cities and communities is really there. And certain cities like that, it might be a little harder to differentiate from the intentions that why you're doing something. Because everyone out there is kind of trying to make it. So I've been really lucky. I went down to visit and I have a lot of really good people that introduced me to good people. And like, obviously there's community everywhere. Yeah. But in cities like that, I feel like there's a lot more people that are out there for those opportunities. So it could get a lot, like, I've had friends who moved down to California and then came back to Edmonton for the community.
Right. Wow.
So, however, I think it is important, especially when you're an artist building a career, to put yourself like available to those opportunities. But maybe call somewhere home that you really love.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. Yeah, Canada is wonderful. It is nice. And it is like, it's your world. Yeah. You know, like when you're in Edmonton, if that's your vibe and those are the people that you love and that's what you're doing, there's no reason that you need to leave. Like, you're doing the things you want to do already. Yeah,
and the thing is with streaming and stuff like that, it opens the world so much more globally. So I have so many more fans all over the world, like a lot of places in the United States as well.
Yeah.
So it'll be cool because this winter I'm going to go home and like apply for my visa and stuff like that. And then you can go play shows and stuff. Nice. But yeah, the power of the internet, that's the cool thing about it, is it suddenly like you might live somewhere, but the whole world is kind of your stomping grounds.
Totally. So how does Twitch work? Like how often do you like do that?
Yeah. So when I'm home, I regularly stream probably about four days a week or so.
Okay.
And usually I do like 2 to 3 hours each time. But basically, you get yourself set up and it's not the hardest. Like there's an open broadcast system that you get called OBS. And basically if you're going to stream on Twitch, you put your, like every username has a stream key. So you put your thing in there and then it's actually like, you can make it quite simple. You just hook up your audio source and your video source and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so do you do you do like the same time on those days? Like do you like
so
have to
when
promote it or?
Honestly, like the Twitch's algorithm itself is good. You can promote it and I do sometimes. Like when you're starting out, you do more so. Sure. After you do it for a while, you kind of build your audience and you don't really have to as much. But it's super good when I'm home and not touring and not busy. I do keep a schedule. That's like some really good advice that I would give to people starting out. Lately I've been on the road a lot, so my streams are kind of all over the map. But your community kind of grows with you as an artist, and they're excited that you're out in the real world living, and then you're like your real life streams, because you can just stream off your phone nowadays. There's actually like very few barriers. A lot of people are kind of nervous to start, but once you get it going, you realize how actually easy it is. So it's nice because then you can bring like your fans and your community on the road with you wherever you go. And they love that. Yeah, it's kind of like a behind the scenes.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Dope. So do you have like followers and stuff on there too?
I do. Okay. Yeah. So people follow you, and then how you monetize Twitch is people can subscribe to you. They don't have to. So like Twitch isn't open. It's free. Like people can just use it for free. But if they want to support you as an artist, they can subscribe to you and stuff like that. So do they like donate money, right? Is that how it works? People can. Okay. So it's completely free to use. So you can like you can be watching a streamer and supporting them for years without paying a cent to them. Or if you consciously choose to, then you can definitely donate money through like PayPal or subscribing or like gifting subscriptions and stuff like that.
Dope.
Yeah.
So, did you always know that you wanted to be a rapper? Because you said you went through a photography phase.
I had no idea what I was going to be forever. I'm so glad that I found like freestyle rap, because I think that I'd be really lost in this world without it. But I went to, in 2017, I went to Base Coast. And there was a group from Vancouver, actually. They're called the Freestyle Focus Group. And they were rolling around with a mobile setup. So they had basically like speakers and microphones on wheels. And all weekend they were rolling around encouraging people to freestyle. And at the end of the weekend, I really wanted to try it. And my friends were like, oh, just go do it.
You had never done it before?
Never done it before, yeah. That summer we'd been like, because I was just like an enjoyer of music festival culture. And I think that summer I'd like written a song about dolphins, because the first rap song I ever wrote was about dolphins. So by the end of the weekend, I went up there and I did my friggin' dolphin song. And the minute I got the mic in my hand, I was like, this is what I want to do forever.
Oh,
and then I went home and I like started seeking out opportunities and seeking out a couple gigs. My first couple gigs actually were battle raps. It was so funny.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I know. And then
I don't see you as a battle rapper.
I know. Well, now I would like, I don't really do that anymore. I've gotten asked to a lot, and the thing is, my freestyle skills are developed enough that like I feel like I'd be pretty decent at it, but like I like to use my powers for good.
Totally.
But then I carved out a niche for myself, rapping over my friends' like DJ sets and emceeing over like music festival sets on the electronic side of things.
Right, that's what you said.
And it was only the last couple years that I delved into kind of the hip hop side of things. So it was nice because I kind of got it from both worlds, and I feel like my come up in the electronic world was really nice because all my friends were really very, very supportive, and I think everyone was hungry for a female MC. Not to say that it would have been different if I had started just kind of on the hip hop side of things, but it was like brought up in the music festival, like EDM community. So it was I think that really shaped my bubbly sound.
I don't know if I've ever heard anybody rap over EDM.
That's me.
I'm trying to think. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what
so when you live stream on Twitch, like what kind of beats are you, is it like
so when I do my rap streams? No, when I do my rap streams, I just have a big collection of beats I found that I like that are like boom bappier. But when I DJ, I rap over my own sets, or sometimes people have me out to MC over their sets. So when I'm on the DJ decks, primarily I'll be playing like a higher electronic BPM. But I love like boom bap. So when I do my rap streams, I stick to that. Like sometimes people will want me to do it over other stuff, but mainly I keep the electronic side to when I'm behind the DJ decks, because then I can just kind of do it all myself there.
So do you like produce your own music?
No, I don't really produce yet. I've like dabbled a tiny bit, but I haven't put nearly enough hours into it. Once I'm home, I'm working on a new album that I want to get finished up, and I think that once I have that out into the world, then I'll need to take some time to really delve into like the producing side of things, because it's a whole beast, and I have not I was basically like teaching myself how to be like a really, really good freestyler. And now that that's where the level that I want to be, and I spent the last couple years like teaching myself how to be a DJ, and that's getting up to the level that I want to be. And now that both of those are pretty good, now I can slowly add the third in there.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's good. Like going back to what we were saying earlier about, delegating your time to where I always just feel like I'm like running out of time and have no time. So I'm always
it just disappears. It just goes away. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I have time. You know what I mean? And if I'm going to spend like, a couple years, developing like photography skills, and then a couple years doing like, I feel like probably like adding all of my attention onto like that one thing and then that one thing, eventually will end up being better.
The nice thing is it's like a really conscious choice, right? So if I come home this week and I'm like, okay, I'm going to put half an hour a day into producing stuff, that would grow really quickly.
Totally.
But I definitely want to do that really soon. But I know that when I get home, I'm like, okay, I want to finish this album. And then after that's done, then I'll kind of start adding in, because we're all just a combination of our habits. So whatever you do every day, like rapping, just a little bit every day, you can get better so much quicker.
Totally.
But you have to make that conscious choice. Like instead
that everyday practice.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So definitely on my radar to add right away. Like I have all the tools I need and stuff at home. I have all the teachers around me that would love to help and stuff. Nice. So it's just a matter of being like, okay, I think I'm ready now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So what did you do after high school when you graduated? Like, did you go to school?
Oh, yeah. No, I did. Yeah. My parents split up and moved away right when it ended. And I was like, and I had just gotten my dog because I had like expected to stay at home forever. So right when high school ended, I was like, okay, I guess me, my dog, and my cat are like going to go to university. Well, that's like what's laid out for you, right? You're like supposed to do this and do that. So I went straight to university, and I did like a year and a half of just like an arts program, just because like I didn't really know what else to do.
Yeah.
And then I remember taking a semester off and going backpacking down the West Coast. Nice. And I came back and I was like going to go back to school. And then I was like, this isn't what I wanted to do. And that's actually when I went into kind of like the corporate world for a little bit. And I was like, this feels safe and good. Right. And then I wasn't really happy there. And then I started doing renos and kind of a lot of like freelance all over the place. I started making posters for local event companies. Nice. And that gave me enough kind of pocket money between that and the renos that I felt comfortable like leaving the cushy office job. And that was kind of the push that I needed.
Just making the posters?
Well, posters and renos, and like I would just do kind of like all odds and ends. I like hosted karaoke at a local bar. Like I would just kind of do whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll run this sandwich shop, no problem. It was like, so I just kind of did odds and ends for like a year, or so. And then took over music full time of when COVID hit. So I kind of jumped all over the place.
Yeah. That's great though. Cause it's like makes you very well-rounded, and like now you have all the skills that you need to kind of like, and
it's cool. It's good to kind of try a lot of things out. I'm super happy that I found music, and I guess it found me really, because the odds and ends were good, but it wasn't really like a career. I was kind of doing everything spread a little bit too thin. And then when I found music, I just knew it was what I wanted to, everything else felt like a waste of time. Like everything else felt like it was taking away from what I wanted to do. So once I found music, that's when I knew that that's what I had to channel all my focus and all my time and energy into.
Yeah, totally. Well, it sounds like you're doing fabulous.
It's pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm comfortable. I'm doing what I love. So
that's great.
Gotta stick with it.
What more could you need? Like
totally. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I love when people are like doing their art stuff and they're like making money and just doing that. And
it's really good. Like I'm very, very lucky that I got told about Twitch. It was Vecht. He's the 7-time DMC World Scratch Champion. He teaches Vecht scratches on Twitch. So he does a lot of turntablism on there. And when we first met, he was like, you would be perfect for this platform. And I hated it. Like I first started, I was also way worse at rapping. And I was not a DJ. I was garbage.
Yeah.
I was really bad. Yeah. So I started on it a little bit, and I was like, and when you first start, there's like 2 people watching, and you're like, I don't want to rap for no one. And then I just stuck with it, and eventually I got a lot better at it. But Twitch gave me the power to like monetize that. It was like a little bit at first, but then it gets a little bit more. And that really, now that shows are back, I've already gotten my name out there a lot. So now like I'm comfortable enough. But I was very grateful for Twitch as a platform, because like sitting at home for a couple of years, there's nothing that would have forced me to like practice as much and build a global like community as much. Totally. So that was really cool. Like that's an advice I have for any kind of creators, not just musicians, like artists, even people who just like having conversations. It's like the world is out there. You just have to figure out a way to get yourself out there sometimes. So people can get really discouraged in it. But Twitch specifically for me, that one really worked well, because no matter what, I'd be able, and as you do it, it gets a lot easier. You start realizing that the community you build, like they're all people that care about you as an artist, but also as a person. And that's what I really appreciate about that platform, because live streaming, it puts you, your face, your voice in front of people who consciously want to be there. Yeah. So they care about
watch
you.
A live stream that doesn't want to watch the live stream.
So they care about you. They care about you through the good, the bad, and you feel really supported. So I've been really lucky. I call them my Nauticult. So this is actually, this shirt is my merch. So Celestial Bean Art designed it. But it's a joke because my whole theme is nautical. So like it's not a cult, but it's not a cult. So it's like, it's really good because like the more you do that, the more you're able to build these connections, and it feels like one-on-one because like you are just talking to them. And then you go out into the real world and you play shows in cities. Like I went down to California for TwitchCon and I got to meet so many people that have been supporting me for 3 years that I'd never met before. But you really feel like you know them, right? Because it's, you actually like when you engage with them or the chat, and there's lots of other ways that you can talk with them, you get to really, really know your fan base.
That's dope.
And that's what makes you just want to channel it back into there. Yeah.
So do you do a lot of like talking like on the live stream like to the people, or is it
so I
mostly
do.
just,
they
like,
really like that, but I feel weird if I'm not like DJing or rapping. So DJing's like a lot easier than like rapping. Like is rapping, but when you're DJing, there's a lot of like time that you're just chatting. A lot of people do just chat, and I do occasionally
so, like, you just,
do
like,
those.
play music, like,
and then you're just chatting over it. Yeah, because DJing doesn't like
cool.
take your whole brain power unless you're doing like crazy stuff. Yeah. So there's a lot of like downtime where you're kind of chatting. Or if I do a rap stream and I have like spaghetti brain, then there's a lot more chatting. It gets silly. Yeah.
Spaghetti brain.
Spaghetti brain. Yeah.
Do you find that like, I mean, I feel like you like when you have a fan base of so many people, like it's probably like so many different types of people. Like, are you ever like surprised by the people that you meet that like you're like, you like me? Like,
well, I guess not surprised, just like super like humbled. Like it's like adorable. Like I was flown out to the Yukon and I hosted a children's DJ hip hop workshop, and it was a room full of 10-year-olds requesting and then singing the lyrics to like my trap song I put out about being your own boss. And there's like DJ Philly Groove. He's like their local legend. He's this 10-year-old house DJ. He's like singing every word of my like, you know, like independent, I'm my own boss song that I wrote. And so I guess like I never expected like a room full of 10-year-olds to be.
Yeah.
But then also like on the other end of the spectrum, there's a like I was freestyle rapping down in California, filming some content, and just the most unlikely like people who were like, she was probably like 80 or so, and she'd never heard a rapper before, and she loved it. So I guess I feel really lucky that I'm able to adapt and connect with every facet of people. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I feel like the newer kind of rap too is like kind of getting the old people to be like, okay, like you know, because people aren't just like guns and weed and like, you know, it's more like wholesome stuff. And
exactly.
Like, you know,
well, it's also kind of a challenge. Like why I became a freestyler is to connect with people. So using that skill, I'm able to just transfer it to the people that I'm with. So obviously if I'm with a bunch of 8-year-olds, I'm going to like try to rap about something relatable. And if I'm with 80-year-olds, I'll probably put on like a chiller beat and rap about something like calmer.
Right.
Versus if it's like someone like you, I'd probably just like go off.
Yeah.
So it's nice because you can really adapt to that. And especially with DJing too, because I taught myself to DJ like most of the genres.
Cool.
As well. So I feel like as an artist, you're just able to connect with more people. The more you practice and the more you prepare, you can kind of like, you obviously stay true to yourself as an artist, but then you can kind of like chameleon to adapt to situations. Cause I feel like as a person, like I try to do that. I match energy levels of people just cause you want to get on their level if you want to connect with them.
Right. Very true. That's interesting. Yeah. I feel like I always know what people like.
Yeah.
Like
or at least you can like kind of figure it out a little bit. You like try something. If that doesn't work, you like try something else. Yeah. And you're like, okay, I'm going to make you like me. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. That's fun. Kind of like working the crowd a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, like the ultimate goal is to make the whole world your homies and then you're set.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. Huh. So what's with the dolphin thing? What's
I mean, my whole theme is nautical. Like,
sorry, what is nautical? I don't know what that is.
So like kind of like related with the ocean.
Okay.
Yeah. So Thugshells is my rap name. First rap song we ever wrote was about dolphins.
Yeah.
So I have a really good friend. He's an amazing DJ. He's from Calgary. His name's Bass Panda. He plays live sax on his sets. And so when I first heard of him, we brought a huge group of our friends down to see him. And we had made a bunch of dolphin totems because a group of dolphins is a pod squad. So the first rap song I ever wrote was about dolphins. Okay. And when I was first starting out, a lot of my raps were like Dr. Seussier because you're like, you know, you're just getting into it. And so all my raps were very like nautical themed. There was like the mobster lobsters and the pod squad. And and as I developed as an artist, I kind of strayed away from that and just became the rapper. I guess.
Yeah.
But my origin was always nautical. So nautical is kind of like the theme, the aesthetic. Like a lot of my graphics have to do with that. I have kind of Finn is the name of the dolphin that we have as like the sticker that I gave you, the dolphin one. Yeah. So that's Finn. So we have him on my channel, and everything is just kind of nautically themed. Like then a lot of the music videos are, a lot of the outfits I wear. Like I have like a couple music videos on boats, and I just love the ocean. I love making waves. I love flowing. So everything just kind of naturally progressed from the origin stories of Thugshells. So, and now I'm the owner of Nauticult, but it's a nautical, but it's not a cult.
Yeah.
So
nice. Was that like based on your love for the ocean as like a child growing up?
Yeah, well, my grandmother lives in Cyprus in the Mediterranean. So I used to spend my summers there, and I'd go visit her for months at a time. So the ocean definitely, or the sea, I guess, carved out who I am as a person more so than I really realized, but on a subconscious level, I think it really did.
Yeah.
And yeah, it all seems to really make sense. And I feel the most me. Like I live in Edmonton where there's no ocean anywhere close. But every time I'm near a large body of water, I feel alive, I guess.
Yeah.
So I try to carry that with me through my music till one day I return to the ocean.
Yes. Oh my God. Mediterranean summers. That's great.
It's pretty great. I didn't visit for a couple of years, and then last year I went out and spent a month near the end of the summer, and it just reminded me, like I'd kind of forgotten how much it shaped me. And when I went out, it reminded me of how much like that place is a part of me.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, it's gorgeous out there. Shout out my grandma. She's the coolest. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Hell yeah. So what's your like family background like? Like what's your
actually speak fluent Russian.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So my family, I was born here, but my family is Russian.
Okay. Nice. Wow. I wouldn't have ever guessed that. Like,
it's pretty dope. Sometimes I like throw bars in Russian and people are like, what?
Yeah, totally. I love like the different languages that we have at the Cypher Happening.
Yeah.
Like
that was
Japanese,
awesome.
Korean, like Spanish. Like it's so dope.
It's just switch ups.
Yeah. I love that it just like I can tell that it sounds cool even though it's like a different language. I'm still like,
well,
this
music is so universal. It's like the rhythm and the beats and like the energy too. So that's why it's like it's cool. You can really, really get it. You don't have to understand the words or the meanings. You can just get into like the passion of it and like the beat. Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
Dope. I love your voice, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Talking voice. I feel like
it's funny because it's on the tail end of like I've had so many gigs for so long. I haven't given it a day off in a while, but I feel like we're back today. It was so scratchy like this last week.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
It's hard as a vocalist on the road. Like you have to have respect for that. I was in town to see Harry Mack perform. He's a really like I'd say he's probably like the best freestyler in the world. And it was interesting because near the end of his like hour set, like he had tea and he made kind of a comment about his voice, and then he had to cut it there, and it made me realize like, oh, I'm not alone in this. Like you do have to be really, really careful with your voice when you're like doing stuff every day.
Absolutely. Are you like, do you smoke at all or anything then? Like no weed or anything?
No, I don't smoke weed. Mainly because like I'm not very functional as a human.
Yeah.
But I don't smoke anything else either. Like I can't even have like a puff of a vape or anything because it'll just mess my throat right up. So a couple years ago I had to make the conscious choice to be like, I can't, because even a little bit, my throat will be messed up for like days.
Yeah. That's so true.
Vocal health, man. You got to make those sacrifices.
No, for sure. I know there are
no
a lot
vape
of, like,
nation.
Yeah. For sure. I know. There's definitely like a lot of artists that have been like, I gotta like not smoke as much weed.
Well, all my friends have vapes too, so whenever I like hang out with them or like drive with them to the festival, like I used to be like, just one little puff, and now I'm like, I can't.
Totally.
Because then like the next day my voice is like hoarse, and I'm like, why did I do this?
Yeah, fuck, that's so weird. Well, it's like a little God-given gift.
Yeah, you gotta
delicate throat. So he was like, no.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do. There's this like cool. I've been really into this summer at Shambhala. I got told about this like weird, like it's like a syrup, but it's like a for the throat. It's called ninjom, and it's like you can get it at like the herbal stores here, but it's like it's basically honey and like 15 different herbs. So like this summer was like my summer of like testing out all the things. There's like throat coat tea that you can get, and like lozenges are your friend, and that ninjom stuff is like that's killer. I could pick that up when I was here because I didn't have any in the States, and I'm like chugging my like herbal cough syrup. I'm like, I swear it's just I was walking back from the pharmacy with it, and as soon as I got it, I'm like, yeah, time to drink. I'm like realized that I'm like looking like I'm walking down the street just chugging cough syrup.
Literally.
But it's like it's just honey and herbs, but you like the longer you go through it, you realize you have to be really, really careful for your throat.
Yeah.
I've been filming a lot of like outside rapping content, and that's even harder because you got to be amplified and loud. So you got to be careful with your tool, drink lots of tea and hydrate.
Yeah, totally. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I love interviewing people who are singers and rappers and stuff because even their talking voice, I'm just like, damn, your voice sounds fucking awesome.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. It takes a while to get there, but then you get a bit of the cadence with it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess you're on the mic all the time too, so you're just kind of used to it.
Yeah. I'm on mic a lot.
Yeah.
I love the mic.
This Twitch stuff is like... I always thought that Twitch was like just for like video game live streaming.
So music opened up, I'd say about like maybe 5 years ago now or so, but it was for gaming, and gaming is big, but there's like a huge bustle in music community. Art as well. Like a lot of people do like regular art and digital art on there as well.
Oh, like just like a video of them kind of like doing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but there's a lot of music. There's a lot of DJing. A lot of like looping and improvised stuff works really well on it because you can kind of engage with the people that way. And then I wouldn't say there's a ton of rappers. I'm actually surprised there's not more rappers, but there are some of us.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool to be a part of that like small niche of a community.
And it's like really, really nice because Twitch music, even though it's like pretty small, it's pretty large, and like we all like, I don't know, everyone just really supports each other on there. I find it's a very positive platform if you want to get your foot in the door that way. And TwitchCon was really cool. It was the first time all of us like got to go like bro down. Yeah, it was sick.
Oh, cool.
A little musician mecca.
Did they have like people performing and stuff there, or what was
they had like they had a couple stages. So I was performing on like one of the outdoor stages. And it was awesome. That's where a lot of the live music was.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Dope, dude. Nice. So the shows you're doing when you go home are like what kind of like size venue do you normally perform at? Like do you have like a bigger
so like when I get home, I have a bit of a cluster funk. I get home midnight on Tuesday. Wednesday I open for Afro Man.
Oh my God, really? Wow.
Yeah, so that one's pretty big. So that's, you know how I was saying my rap nights in the basement of like an iconic venue, the Starlight Room? So Afroman's upstairs in the Starlight Room. So that's probably about like 400 people is the capacity there, 400 or 500. If they also have a back they can open, but just the front. So yeah, I open for Afroman. The next night is my freestyle rap night, which is in the basement. So the capacity is probably like 100.
Okay.
And then I'm there was kind of a void for like sick Halloween parties. So me and my buddy Jay Slay, we have a event company. We don't throw a lot of events, but we're called Vibrators. We raid vibes. So we don't throw a lot of parties, but I was like, wait a minute, there's no Halloween thing. So we put together a 2-story, like 20 plus DJ Halloween party. It sold out weeks ago. So I come home and it's like Afroman, my freestyle rap night, and then our sold out 2-story Halloween party. And then I'm closed for bookings for the month. And then I'm chilling in November. Don't bother me. Please leave a message after the tone. I will get back to you in December.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds great, dude.
Yeah. It's gonna be super fun. And the hall party is probably like, I think we maxed out at like 200 people or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So what kind of other like have you done openers for like kind of bigger names like that before? Is that like the biggest one?
Afroman, I guess, would pretty much be the iconic. I've done since I DJ as well, I do a lot of music festivals. So I've done a lot of music festivals with I would say more people than something like that. Right. I was flown out to the Yukon this summer for a festival called Paradise. That one was sick. So it was like Crafty Cuts and Fort Knox 5 and Rumpus. If you know any of those guys.
It's like there's a lot of random things I don't know about Canada and stuff, but is it Yukon like is it warm in the summertime? Like,
it was super warm. It was beautiful. It was like perfect temperature. Yeah, that festival is amazing. It was called Paradise. But I've done a lot of festivals. I guess opening for like specific hip hop acts. Yeah. Afroman would probably be the biggest. And I did your downtown 420. That was crazy. There was there was no other.
So many fucking people.
Yeah, so I was one of the headliners there for the Art Gallery 420. So that was probably the most people I've ever played to.
Nice.
It was here.
Yeah, I was there. Maybe I missed it.
Yeah, I played at like 7 or something right after the torrential downpour.
Oh, yeah. I was.
So you might have left right before the torrential downpour.
I think I left literally like 5 minutes after.
I was like, I guess I'll play. That's fine. And then everyone came back though. That's great. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, yeah. That's fucking crazy. That entire block was totally covered. That's dope. That's great.
Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah.
Nice, dude. Hell yeah. So what was it? Okay, so where else have you traveled to
for music stuff? Well, the thing is I've only really fine-tuned what I do the last couple years, and everything's been closed the last couple years. So I would say that with my music, not really as many places. I don't have my American visa for working, so I can't play in the States right now. So I went down for TwitchCon, but that was like pro bono, and for the big Twitch conference. But I have a ton of people in the States that want me to come play. So basically, because as an artist, when you take it, like you got to do it right. You don't want anything to go
so like
sour with it.
But what if you were like, say doing like a small kind of show that's not like a paid show, like could you still go over there and do that?
You can, but it's still kind of like gray area. So I haven't, like I've gotten a lot of offers, but until I have all my visa, everything, I'm not really looking for anything like that because you want to do it right. So this winter, now that there's enough interest to make it feasible, this winter I got to lock down and start that process because it's like, it doesn't take a while. It's just like a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I guess I've traveled not really anywhere crazy yet. I guess like the Yukon is pretty fun.
Had you been to the Yukon before?
No, but I've been there twice now since, and I have a feeling I'm going back again in like a couple weeks. Because
what is it like there? Like
it's great. There's like it's beautiful, just like giant beautiful lakes, mountains, gorgeous. It's really pretty. And the community there is awesome. It's a bit smaller, but it's concentrated, right? Because Whitehorse is the city that everyone is in. So that festival that I played, Paradise, is probably like, I'd say maybe like 200 to 300 people. But everyone that's there loves the event that it is. So it's
I'm
really
sure there's maybe not like a lot of those kind of events.
Exactly. So everyone kind of comes from near and far when they're in the area for those. So it's nice because it was really pretty. So I guess the Yukon and like San Diego so far. But there's a whole world that's opening up, and like now I want a little bit time for me because even though I'm ready, I want more time to fine tune a couple things before I'm like out and about traveling the world again because it really takes it out on you.
Yeah, it does. It does. And there is those kind of things you need to like get home at or get done at home.
I just want like a new album out and all like basically living like live streaming and performing live are a different facet of your life. And then you really kind of have to buckle down and pause the outside world if you want to create something that could have the potential of being timeless. So I want a little bit of time dedicated to that in the next bit. It's really important to take that time. And sometimes you forget to carve it out, but learning to say no to stuff is really important because I always struggled with that. And I still do. I'm still bad at that.
Like no to
cool opportunities. Because opportunities will always be there. And the more you do it, the more that reach out. But just kind of realizing your worth and realizing how much your time is worth to you. Once you start realizing that and acting accordingly, it'll really free you up to infinite potential because saying no to a gig might feel bad in the moment, but suddenly you have some time at home to like work on your album, which will give you a million more opportunities once it's out.
For sure. That's super true. Yeah. Well, where is like your like dream place to go and play a show?
Man, that's a good question actually. I never really thought about it. Like Red Rocks would be a really cool venue to play. There's a couple of festivals out there. Like Liquicity is my favorite drum and bass label. So I would like love to play a festival like that. Like some of the European festivals are absolutely nuts. I guess like it's funny because I think about making those 5-year plans and all those. And I guess like I just keep doing what I'm doing. But my dream venues include like, I guess like just kind of touring around and filling up places more so than one location ever. I guess I want to play the world.
Yeah. Fair enough. I just want to go everywhere. True.
But like in a little bit. I don't want to go anywhere for a while.
Not November.
Not November. I'm busy. It's funny because I think I already took a gig at the end of November because I was like, fine. It's at least to get 3 weeks at home.
Yeah, totally. So, what's your relationship like with performing? Like, do you like love performing?
I love it. Yeah, I love. It's funny because I started DJing now, so I go through phases where I get a little bit burnt out DJing, especially because I do it at home live streaming a lot, and then I like to joke that I'm just cosplaying as a rapper. But I think that freestyling is my favorite. If all I could do was just freestyle, that was what I do. But then I miss DJing, and I love how I feel when I'm like rocking a crowd DJing and then adding vocals over it too. So my relationship is interesting because I feel like I always love it. And on the days where I'm just like, I don't want to do this, I'll take like half a day off and I'll miss it right away. So I like that I can fall back on both. Sometimes if I'm a little bit tired of DJing, it's never actually the DJing too. It's just kind of like the behind the scenes, like organizing, getting new music. Because DJ library is kind of like cleaning your room. Like you can spend hours doing it and it's still messy. And then next week you just have to clean it again.
Right.
So it's nice because when I get kind of sick of one, I pick up the other, and then I miss the other one. So that's why like I'm excited one day to get into like producing stuff, because then I'll have like a third to kind of bank to.
That's great. Yeah, because I mean, burnout is real. Like it so obviously happens when you're doing too much of one thing. That is awesome to kind of like balance those two. And
I've had a lot of like real life living this last like month and a half, so I'm like definitely itching to get back in the studio. Like any burnout that could have been, I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, totally. That's great. Yeah, it's definitely great to like take that break and kind of switch it up a little bit, because doing the same thing all the time is just going to be
and it's important to go be a human too. Like for a little while, because I was so focused on building up, because I was like I said, I was way worse at rapping and way worse at DJing. So for a while, I was like intensively like, no, I must do this at all time. But once you get to a point where you don't suck as much, then it's important to make time to be like Michelle instead of Thugshells, or a human instead of an artist, because then you get that inspiration and you get that drive and desire to like go back and do the thing, and then you're hungry for it again.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's hard to take the break, but you take the break and you realize that it's a cycle.
Fuck. That is the hardest fucking thing, though, is like, when am I going to be a human and when am I going to be an artist? Because it feels like you don't have time to be a human, like, ever.
Yeah, and it's scary because, like, you know, we live in a society where social media and stuff, everyone's doing all the cool stuff all the time, and it feels like everyone's got a kickstart on you, and it feels like time's always running out. But you just got to remember that on social media and all those places and all that art that's being put out, people have spent like an iceberg, like hundreds of hours on the stuff that looks like they just did it then now. So you have to take that time to be you and cultivate all that stuff. So it can get really stressful. So I think that's why like detoxing off that kind of stuff every once in a while is really important and necessary, because it can get very existential dready when you see everyone doing all the things at once and you're like scared you'll always fall behind. But even though you're always out of time, there's always so much more time. So it's just, you have to be careful with what you do with your time, but you also got to not stress it as much, I guess. That's why meditating is like bueno, because like it just reminds you like simmer down, like you got time, like even though it feels like you don't, it helps. Like that's what really brings me back down to earth, and like a routine and stuff like that. It's important because you can get really lost in the busy.
It definitely it is important to spend time being human, and also to remember that like you're on your own journey and you're in your own little wave, like you know, like you are you, and you're gonna do your own thing, and like your journey's not gonna be like anybody else's, and like if you're maybe a little bit slower than this person, like doesn't matter, like it doesn't mean you're not gonna get there. Like, you know. And you're on your own journey, and it's really cool because sometimes I feel like you can tap in and really cool things happen once you surrender to that flow and you start noticing like some synchronicities, and like I don't know, sometimes the universe just shows you when you're on the right path, like when certain things happen. So you just got to be in tune to pay attention and be grateful to that. So I think the switch into the positive mindset and the mindset of gratitude is really helpful to that, because then instead of like, I have to do this, you can start thinking I get to do this, or instead of those responsibilities, you realize like this is what I love to do and I have the opportunity to do that. So like just the simple mind switches can really help you with that. And for sure. The perspective is a huge thing.
I think we all struggle with like the existential dread of running out of time, but at the end of the day, like we have the rest of our lives, but we also, like, nothing is ever promised. So you got to do what makes you happy, cut out the whack, and just keep going with that. And if you realize something isn't making you happy, then you have to have the courage and the strength to, like, full overhaul and switch it. You just have to realize it, though. So I guess that's why you have to be really mindful.
And I mean, number one over everything is, like, being content with what you're doing. You know, like no matter if it's your art or whatever, like, you gotta like find yourself in the right spot to enjoy it too, because if you do have the wrong perspective, you can just be all fucking stressed out about it.
You can be miserable. Or you can be in like the worst situation ever and you can just be happy because you're like, oh, this is life. I'll write a song about this later.
Totally. Yeah, that's super fucking important. Dope, dude. Well, I wish you so much luck on everything you're doing and all your shows and everything when you go back.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me. I can't wait to come back and visit Vancouver. I'll have to go for some sushi or something.
Yeah. We can't wait to have you back, dude. Cypher will be missing you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Sweet. Wait. Instagram.
Yes. So Thugshells everywhere. THUG shells, like the seashells. And it's everywhere on Instagram, Twitch, Spotify, wherever you will have it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, thanks, lady.
Of course. Yeah. Thanks for having me. It was so nice to meet you.
Hell yeah, you too. Dope.
Boom.